Hi, I'm Sally Franz with Serenity House, and this is Good News for a Change, Serenity Style. And I am here with Theresa Tetreau, and you are with?
The North Olympic Library System.
Wow, and that covers the entire county, what does it cover?
From the east to the west and all parts in between. So there are 4 branches in the North Olympic Library System. I work here in the Forks and Clallam Bay branches at the west end of the county, and the main library is in Port Angeles, and then there is a branch in Sequim as well.
So we've got a lot of libraries for folks, and we're going to talk about it later. I think people can get online to the library system also.
That's correct. The library's website is available 24/7 at www.nols.org.
Great, we're going to do that at the end too, so stay tuned, folks. All right, tell me what really is your mission at the library here?
Well, I want to make sure I get this right, so let me tell you. The library's mission statement is nurturing imagination, connection, and understanding to improve lives and strengthen community.
So one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you today was that we know there are lots of people that are displaced, that are without homes for now. We're trying to get them into homes at Serenity House. But how does the library become a resource for someone who's in a community that maybe needs a computer or needs information?
Well, one of the great things about libraries is that all the services are free. So
Yay!
There's no barriers in that way. Everybody is welcome here at the library. And if you don't have access to computers at home or reading material or the other things that you need in your lives, you can come to the library and be able to look up information, complete job applications, go online and connect with people far and wide via email or all the things that you need to do.
So you could stay connected to family.
Mm-hmm.
You could get a job application, because we know a lot of jobs now say, oh, go online and fill out the application. Well, if you're, in between homes, that's not easy to do.
That's not easy to do.
Yeah.
So, and there's great people here. The staff are always happy to help with those sorts of things that come up in people's lives that they need help with. It isn't easy if you're not comfortable using a computer or don't have those technical skills. There's great folks working here that can help with that.
And people, don't be embarrassed, by the way, if you don't know that, because and every time they change it, it's a game changer. For me, it means I start all over. How does the library get its funding?
Well, the library's operating budget, 95% of it comes from property taxes.
Really?
So all of us
I didn't know that.
All of us here in Clallam County that are property owners contribute to that. There's a small portion that also comes from fees and fines that are collected at the library, and a few other miscellaneous sources.
Those late book fees?
Yeah, once in a while.
I can't imagine that adds up to too much. So, do you do any fundraisers at a library?
The library is always appreciative of any sorts of donations that people want to make, and there are a few ways that folks can do that. I'm just going to look at my notes here because I want to make sure I cover everything. So you can donate in a number of ways, either by cash or by check, or even online at the library's website that we talked about. You can designate that your gift supports a specific branch or a specific program, or even a specific collection area. Sometimes people will be super passionate about something and they'd like to make a donation so that the library has more materials in that area. That's great. That's really a nice way. In fact, that people can donate in memory of a loved one. So if you'd like to...
So if you knew your mom was really in love with books, a great way to honor her as she passed would be a donation for books.
Exactly.
Something like that. Especially, like, I know my mom loved poetry.
Oh,
so that would be a great way to honor her, is a donation for maybe an increased section of poetry.
Right, like exactly. I've had that happen in my family, and it's just a real treasure to be able to go and see those materials on the shelf and know that your family member still lives on in that way. So.
FYI to my family, humor books and anything with cartoons like Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
So, what kinds of populations do you serve? are there specific groups that seem to use the library more than others?
You know, that's the great thing about libraries is that it reaches so many different people from so many different walks of life. And there's so many things happening at the library that appeal to broad groups. There could be story times for toddlers or...
Wow, you know, that just reminded me, if people are between homes and they want their children to read, they can get free books to take home to read to their children, right? And,
Exactly.
and then you have people that actually read to kids here?
We have that happening at all 4 branches.
Oh, nice.
A wide array of programs happening at the library. For children, for adults. So in addition to, for example, the story times for children, there could be a seminar on advanced planning for elderly people. You can come to the library and learn how to bake the perfect pie or learn how to pickle something. You can learn skills to improve your technology skills. There are services that allow you to obtain Microsoft certification.
Really?
So if you're working towards certification in a Microsoft Office program, you can do that at the library.
Wow, that's a really valuable certification to have in
It
this day and
is.
age.
And they're expensive too, but thanks to a grant from the Washington State Library, we're able to offer that for free here at the library.
Free, loving this word.
Yeah, those certification exams usually cost about $180
Wow.
a piece. So,
And we can offer it for free at the library.
Mhm.
That's very exciting.
and right now there are quite a few students from Peninsula College that are taking classes, and then they come to the library to get that certification exams, and then they don't have to pay for it. So,
Isn't that great?
isn't that a great service?
Yes, that's just amazing. So that sounds like one success story. Do you have other success stories of people who stumbled into the library and said, "Oh, this is a game changer for me"?
Every day there's a success
Really?
story to tell. I think probably some of my favorites have to do with people who are, for example, looking for a job. I recall a young man who came in, and it was on a day when it was pouring down rain, and he had on his...
we are in Forks, but yes, okay.
It was cold and it was rainy and it was
Yeah.
windy, and he had on his logging rigging, and he came in and he was filling out an application for a state job that he was interested in, and he was really struggling with it, so I helped him, and he got submitted on time, and he was really optimistic. And when he stood up to leave, he looked outside and he said, "You know, I hope I never have to work in the woods again."
No.
And I was just like, "Oh, I hope so too, especially on a day like this." And another story, this one was really fun. It happened about 3 years ago. There was a traveler who came in with just a really interesting life story. She was in her mid-80s and was a retired opera singer from Milan,
Wow.
Italy,
Wow.
who got stranded in Forks because she broke her wrist and had to change her return ticket to Milan, and didn't know how to use a computer. She booked her ticket with a travel agent and didn't have email or anything like that, and she came in and she couldn't find help anywhere, and I was just delighted to help her. It took several weeks to finally get the ticket situation straightened out so that she could return home and get a flight back to Milan. And she was just so grateful that we helped her. She took me to lunch, actually.
Oh, that's very sweet.
But then the next year, I was working in my office and I heard her voice out at the front counter. And here she was again.
Back again.
She was back again in town, and the funny thing is she had to change her ticket again. So we had to do it
That's
all
even
over.
funnier, right? But at least she knew where to come.
She knew where to come for help, and we've actually remained friends. We send each other Christmas cards now.
Isn't
And,
that wonderful?
and I got to meet a really nice
Yeah,
person.
Fascinating life.
A fascinating life.
And you
yes.
in Milan and opera, and 80 years old. That's my role model.
No kidding.
No, wow. So are there any misconceptions about what a library does that people get confused and that you don't do?
Well, you know, the library has really evolved in the last few decades. We talked a little bit about all the programs that happen at the library, and people aren't always aware that that's a library service. And one of the things that that are offered here, but there's so many great opportunities available through the library. I mentioned the Microsoft certification exams. That's another thing people aren't always aware of. There are a number of online databases that the library subscribes to, and all you need is a library card to access it.
Wow.
But you'll have access to full text articles in magazines, newspapers, and journals through ProQuest is the name of the database. You could learn a foreign language by going to Duolingo is the name of the program. You could.
So now, if I wanted, wait, this is awesome.
It really is.
And I'm not really good with languages, but if I wanted to learn a foreign language, I could come in here and block an hour a week and practice and go through this on this ProLingo.
Even better, you can do it from home.
Wow.
Yeah, you could be up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
And I often am, yes.
And all you need is your library card to access those great services.
That's fabulous.
You could do some research to decide which new washing machine you want to buy through the library's access to Consumer Reports, which is usually an expensive program.
Very expensive, and very expensive magazine to have. That's absolutely fantastic. Is there anything else you want? I mean, I think for people my generation, 60 plus, we used to go in, check out books, and go home with them, and that was the extent. And if we were lucky, if the librarian was nice, she wouldn't yell at us that we didn't remember that one, the quiet thing, but also didn't yell at you that you didn't really grasp the Dewey Decimal System, the tracking of the books. So it sounds like this is just an information hub.
Exactly, that's a good way to put it. The library is all about providing information or giving people the tools so that they can access information.
And critical thinking.
Exactly.
And factual information.
Right.
And all that sort of thing. So if I ever need a fact checked and I don't know what's going on in the world, I'm not sure about how fast the glaciers are melting or whether we're getting more snow next year, I can come here and somebody could probably point me in the right direction.
And we would love to help you with those sorts of problems. Those are the things that really delight those of us who work here, is that, wow, we're in a position where we can help people find the answers to those questions that come up for them in their lives.
That is awesome.
And that all points back to that mission statement that we talked about. Nurturing imagination, connection, and understanding to improve lives and strengthen community.
Yeah, that's a full wrap. So tell us the website again.
The library's website is www.nols.org.
Okay, so if you know someone that needs help in getting information, getting things straightened out, or if you're between homes and you need to get a job application filled out, or you're retired and you want to learn another language, this is the place to come.
This is the place to come.
Thank you so much for your time. And remember, this is Good News for a Change, Serenity Style, and we'll see you next week.